So let's write a drum beat. I'm going to press F6, take me to the rack. And there's a few different ways that we can create our first device. The easiest way, I suppose, is from the Create menu. I'm going to go to the Instruments drop-down menu, and I'm going to select this thing here called Redrum Drum Computer. So just before we create a drum beat, let me press F6 again. Just before we create a drum beat, you can see that we've had a brand new track for that created in the mixer. Just let me undo and then redo that. You can see that as we create that new instrument, we automatically get a track for it in the mixer. Using that track, like I said previously, we can affect the volume, the panning, whether it's got any effects applied to it, EQ, compression, loads of different bits and pieces. But let's press F6 again, go back to the rack, and let's look at how we can load a drum kit and start to make some drum patterns with that. So wherever you see a button like this on any of Reason's devices, this is where you can browse a patch or a preset or a selection of sounds for that device. You can see that you can actually load individual sounds into any one of these 10 slots that you've got available for loading sounds into. You can load individual sounds from your own sample packs and build up your own unique drum kits. But for the time being and for the purposes of this module, I'm going to load an entire kit from the Reason Factory Sound Bank. So I'm going to press that button. I'm immediately taken to the place in the browser where all the Redrum drum kits are stored. However, if you want to know exactly where that is, you'll find it in the Reason Factory Sound Bank. There's all the devices that come with Reason. There's Redrum drum kits. Just double click where it says Redrum drum kits and that's the same effect as just pressing that browse patch button. So you can see there's a few example kits at the top taken from different genres of music, and then you've got a load of different genre folders, and inside those genre folders you've got a few different kits to choose from. So there's hundreds of drum kits at your disposal before you even start to build your own. So let's go, for argument's sake, let's go for a house kit. Just select that first kit, press OK, and at the top of each drum slot or channel you've got a little play button, and you can audition those sounds. You can see each also has a solo and a mute button. And then you've got a range of different controls underneath here for shaping the playback of that audio sample that's been loaded into that slot. So let's start to knock a pattern together. I'm going to hit this button called Run. And you should see a little red LED light cycling through these 16 buttons. So we're looking at something called a step sequencer here. This is essentially a bar of music that has been split up into 16. So each one of those buttons represents a 16th of a bar. So I can use the mouse to turn these lights on and off. And as the red LED passes that button, it'll trigger a sound of some description. So this first slot here, that's a kick drum or a bass drum. I'm going to make sure that the select button is on that kick drum, and then I'm going to start to turn some of these lights on. I'm going to press button 1, 5, 9 and 13, and that gives me a 4/4 kick drum, a kick drum on each beat of the bar. That is the first, the second, the third and the fourth beat of the bar, or 1, 5, 9, 13. Now Redrum is locked to the tempo that you're working at in your Reason song. You'll find the tempo control down here in the transport. So if you want to make that a little bit faster, you can do, or you can, in fact, you just double click, type in your new value, press enter, and it'll snap to that value. So that's the kick drum. Let's add a clap to that. So I'm going to go and press the select button under the clap slot. You see the lights have gone out. If I just go back to the kick drum, you can see it's still there, still triggering the kick drum. It's just now that the clap is in focus from the step sequencer's perspective. So I'm going to put a clap on the second and the fourth beat of the bar. That's 5 and 13. And let's find some sort of hi-hat sound. I quite like that housey open hat there. I'm going to press that button, and now I'm going to move 2 buttons along from where I place the kick, and I'm going to place the hat on what's called the offbeat. So 3, 7, 11, and 15. That's a real basic house beat there. I could turn redrum on and off using that button there. And we've just created our first drum pattern. Now, redrum can actually store up to 32 different patterns. So you've got 4 banks, each with 8 patterns in. So if I press 2, we're now on bank A, pattern number 2, and I can program a different beat. So let's go for now notice that I'm holding the mouse button down. I can drag across to place multiple drum hits. And now I've got 2 patterns. I can switch between them using these buttons here. To move over to a different bank, you press the bank button first, and then you choose your pattern. So for argument's sake, B8. So to go back to the A bank, you press the A button first and then the pattern number. So I've kept the clap and the hi-hat in exactly the same position. I've just messed around with the position or number of kick drums. So to move over to the B bank, press B, press 8. So that's loading up a redrum. That's the basic drum machine that comes with Reason. That's loading a drum kit, and that's creating some drum patterns. Now, the great thing is that if you like the sounds that are in there, you've made a pattern, then that's all well and good. But if you've made the patterns, you like the patterns, but you don't maybe like the sound that Redrum's giving you back, you could just go in and load a different kit in place of the one that you've already got. The other way you could do that, if I just cancel that, is use the arrow keys here. Quite like that one, so let's leave it as that for now.